Yeah, well, my name is Serrano Keith Baldio, and welcome to Texas Justice Review. Today, we want to talk about this judge that has been sitting illegally on a divorce case that I'm involved in. So, when you go after a publisher and you really piss him off, that's a lifelong lesson there. So, my teaching moment in this video is to inform you, not to just tell you my business, but on the hardship I went through and the hell that the judicial system puts men and women through, but that it would be a teaching moment for you. So nothing here is legal advice. It's just to inform you how cruel and vicious judges can be. Everybody thinks it's a judicial system. It's not, because there are good judges, but these are the evil ones. Anyway, this guy, Michael Snipes, is on my divorce case. He came on in March 12, 2024. And my ex was doing things she wasn't supposed to be doing. I'm a Christian man. I objected to it. And I gave her a choice. It was me, Jesus, or you and whatever else you're doing out there with this new people you met. And she chose not me, not Jesus, but that. And I've had a lot of problems with her in my life. I'll give you a little background. I was emotionally and mentally abused. I didn't fight back. I didn't speak back for the sake of my marriage. It's not that I couldn't. I'm a strong man. I could, defend myself. But the verbal and the demeaning and all that stuff I had to go through for 23 years, was very emotionally trying. I did it because I wanted to save my marriage and I didn't want a second divorce. I am a Christian. It's illegal to be divorced. And so the brutalness and the viciousness, the dominance and the control from a narcissistic person played out in my divorce viciously and violently. It's very shameful as a man for me to tell you that she stood up physically in my own home to, I guess, get into a fight, and I had to basically stand down, walk away, and, just go and pray about it, because that's a confrontation. When the cops come, there's a white woman, there is a minority, guess who's going to jail? Yeah. So I went through all of that, and now I meet this guy. His name is Michael Snipes. He's on my divorce case. I immediately told him I have 3 motions to file, because in community property, and once you file a divorce, nothing is yours. Everything is community property. And she was going into the funds and buying an attorney. And I told him I have a motion for going to the funds to buy an attorney too, so we can decide this. Family law says the judge is not supposed to be involved at all until you meet a crossroads that you can't figure out. It says absent the court's intervention, parties must figure it out on their own. He didn't do that. What happened was I went to a trial on a hearing on May 12th. This guy sat in the hearing, and he came up and he showed up. And I think this guy doesn't look like a family court judge. Dallas voted for 6 black women, female family court judges, and 1 white female who was a write-in because they didn't find somebody. Dallas says it doesn't want any white male judges anymore because they were just the ego. The ego, when you piss them off, they get upset, and that's how they rule. They do not rule by law once they get pissed off. And I experienced that with this guy, because on May 12th, we went 3.5 hours, 4 hours. The very next day, vicious spouse called him up with the attorney and said, hey, we want to come back to court. We didn't get this. We didn't get that. And he says, okay. And I said, come on, judge, this is all email. Dragging me back in, because at that time I was going through a lot of emotional stuff. When you're a Christian man and you just get beaten up by your spouse, and you took a lot of beating just to save the marriage, and now she's brutally trying to steal everything and take everything and leave you with basically nothing. It's very difficult to deal with that mentally and emotionally, because you took a lot of crap just to save and be faithful to the Bible, no divorce. And now there's a vicious divorce. It was tough. And I told him, I said, listen, this is not a mistake. Because I told him, if you're going to keep forcing me back into court, maybe you should recuse yourself. And that comment set the stage for this guy to get a chip on his shoulder and to go after me the entire trial. I got nothing. I got beaten down. I got stripped of all my money, everything I owned. 3 cats, she got all 3. All the furniture, she was able to walk in here, steal it all. then get an order to come back for whatever she didn't get it all. Bank accounts, jewelry, everything she got. Everything. I got nothing. I had no list. He wasn't looking for any list from me for what I wanted. I did walk away with a New York painting. I did get that. So I basically was treated like a roommate. So anyway, I filed a recusal against him. And this guy, I filed a recusal against him too because he's the boss. And so what this guy, Ray Wheeler, the chief judge, did was he sent some communication to this judge, Kim Cook. So Kim Cook had gotten the divorce case before and she rejected, or it was pulled back from him because they said she didn't have enough active hours. Now she's got it. So she ruled on it. To make a long story short, I went before her 35 minutes and telling her all the illegal things he's doing. He can't be sitting on this case. He's a criminal court judge. He's brutally going after me. No family court law. Family court law is supposed to prohibit the judge from interfering. Can't give away property. Can't give it to 3 cats. You can't give it $100,000 of dollars, 100% her. You can't take all the 401, give it to her. You can't take all the mileage and give it to her. And this guy just did all of that. So she put him back on the case, right? But then we found out because he was a defendant in the recusal, the chief judge, he had to sign an order for Judge Kim Cook to get back to put, you have to order, I assign Judge Kim Cook to be on the case to hear the recusal of Judge Michael Snipes. And then Judge Ray Wheeler is supposed to enter that into the system, the Dallas County system, so people can see it. It's missing. And here's why it's missing. Because the defendant judge cannot file an order to tell another judge, rule over me and protect me and dismiss this to help me. So he didn't want anybody to know that he ordered her to protect his business and to not recuse him and to put Mike Snipes back on the case because he's off the case. Up until April 12th, he's off the case. I got him off the case. But then no order, no registration in the docket, and they put him back on the case. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is illegal. But I didn't know that at the time. So anyway, we went to trial, and this guy just ripped me. He moved I had a jury trial. He moved it to November. He had my ex put up some kind of motion of, I don't know. It's a trick motion for injunctive relief, but it wasn't injunctive relief. It was actually a trial so he could give them everything. So my trial was supposed to be June 10th. He moved that to November 11th, and then took the motion for injunctive relief, which I don't even know what that means today, to take everything and just sign it off to my ex. And then order my electricity in my house to be turned off, to force me out, to sell it, give it to her, and I am on the street. And he turned off my electricity. 103 degrees outside. I was struggling. I have asthma. I was suffering. Luckily, people were calling me up, trying to help me. My cat was suffering in the heat. And they didn't care. My ex didn't care, So I had to go and get emergency electricity. But you can't do that in divorce. You can't split that stuff up until after the parties do it themselves. But he didn't let the parties do it himself. He just grabbed everything. I'm giving you this. I'm giving them this, everything. So anyway, I sued my ex and I sued the attorney, went to district court. He calls up the judge in district court, send those tort cases back to me in family court, which only does distribution of property. And he's holding it there. He's hiding it. And then he renamed it to DF, from DC to DF, and his tort claims and his fraud claims he's not supposed to be under. And he used that to get a vexatious thing against me. There's another video where Kathy Stewart, the councilwoman I sued, her attorney showed up, reopened the case 6 months, and he had me put in jail if I don't sell my house while my case is in the appeals court. And all the while, he's illegal on the case. He's illegal. She legally put him back on. And I'm telling the appeals court, and the appeals court is not listening because he's calling up all the judges he knows. He's a veteran judge. He knows a lot of judges. And where the heck is the Republicans that are supposed to be here fighting this with me, all these corruption? He's an illegal judge in my divorce court, and I lost everything, and he's still sitting there. The appeals court told him he can go ahead and still try the case, even though it's an appeal. And it's 10 minutes. Thanks for watching. Not legal advice. Bye for now.